Welcome to the Tarp Report with Sam and Jess. Hey, welcome to the Tarp Report with Sam and Jess.
Sam and Jess, the new era.
The new era of the Tarp Report.
What do you got going on over here first? What is this?
I don't want Nate because I wrote questions. By the way, Mr. Nate Jackson is here. Well, that's the thing.
Right,
if you're going to
go
ask
ahead.
me about
This is a
that, I'm
mess.
going to
All
tell
right, go ahead.
you
All right, go ahead.
that I don't want Nate to see my questions.
One of those is a clapping noise.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd like right now?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Just start pushing them. That's what Trey did. Nope. Oh, there it is. That was perfect. You got it on the first one.
Yeah, nice. That's what's up.
That's so good. Yeah,
there it is. That's going to be an important
You could
one.
just let that one go the whole time.
Yeah,
actually.
you're going to have to come back to that.
What is this one?
It's just like this jazzy funky.
Welcome to the 2023 revised version of the Tarp Report, starring the one and only Road Master
The real stuff.
Sam Miller
Hey!
and his right-hand gal, the diva, the dime, Jess Anderson. Today we have a special guest who's also doing the intro, the one and only Nate Jackson. Why would it do that for me? I said my name's Nate Jackson. All right.
There you go. So yeah, we do have the one and only Nate Jackson from Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club.
The neat, yeah.
Wild and Out, all that stuff, man. You've done a lot of stuff. Curb Your Enthusiasm. And now TikTok.
TikTok, holy guacamole. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a movie called Good Fortune,
Oh, there's
movie called
movies.
Good Fortune.
directed by Aziz Ansari, starring Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves.
No,
So that will be coming out.
dude, that's why I didn't even know about that. You know, sometimes I'm up here recording and I see like scripts and stuff flying around,
Yeah,
and I'm like, Nate's up to stuff.
yeah,
Nate is up
and
to
then
stuff.
Yeah,
and then we
yeah.
practice the script together,
And then we do
we
this
pretend.
too.
we pretend
And I play
that-
Nate.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, I did good.
Work that muscle. For real. No, there's a writer's strike, an actor's strike. I think the writers are good now, and the actors are like, nah, fuck that. You guys cuss on this?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, the actors are like, nah, fuck that. And so it's a movie that I auditioned, got a call back for, then they pinned me, then I booked it, and then they scheduled when I would shoot. I was getting ready to fly to go do it, and then the strike. And they were like, nah, so we're wrapping right now, but then when we go hot, you're in there. So it's already contracted and everything.
That's rad.
Just got to be patient.
Yeah.
That's,
that-
must be really hard.
Is it hard to shut it down like that when because you go, you go. And
Is it
then
hard to shut down
to stop doing
performing?
something? Yeah, to like if you got something going, like how does that affect you?
Nah, I mean,
he's got a
if it's
million other
contracted,
things.
it's money in the bank. The harder part is if you were like in the process and they're like, hey, we're about to book you, and then that happens. Because then you just feel lost. You're like, well, did I get it or not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what happened with Young Rock because COVID hit and everything stopped. And I was like, man, and I didn't get it. And then COVID hit and shut everything down. Then I did get it. I was like,
Yeah.
somebody missed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually how I introduce you. I'm like my friend, Mr. Nate Jackson from the hit television show Young Rock.
That's how
Is
you
that right?
introduce Nate.
If you've
The
ever-
Junkyard
I
Dog.
don't think I've ever hosted a show where I introduced
Oh
Nate.
no! I do it in conversation.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I make sure like
I like
it's
that.
it's all the time because
Yeah.
I want people to know.
How come you introduced me as a fat fella?
No, I would never.
You should
I
do. You
use
go,
other.
he's got a big head and he smells weird.
Yeah,
And
Do you smell weird?
he
I
does.
got smells, man. I'm doing my best.
Okay.
Yeah, hygiene's a process.
Okay, we'll get in all the cracks and dark
Yeah,
spots.
I'm trying, man. It's hard, dude.
He's
I've
doing
got two
better.
hands.
You should have seen him yesterday. He looked like shit.
Did I look like shit?
Sorry,
Oh yeah, I let my
no, you
beard
did
grow
look like
out.
shit.
I was so happy because you had me judge the funniest motherfucker contest last night.
Yeah.
And I was like, Brittany came home. I was like, I'm going to Nate's. I need to shave.
That's
And
awesome.
I got cleaned up because it's weird because like I wasn't like sad.
So this is what you do. You stand in the light, relaxed, and then you watch everywhere light won't hit.
Yeah. Dude,
Okay.
That's
That's how you do it.
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, I don't know. I don't care if my kids think I smell. Like, they don't know anything. They stink too.
Your kids stink.
They're nasty.
No matter whose kids.
Dude, they're really nasty.
Yeah.
We wrote questions and we really tried.
Well, okay.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, I don't know. Do we we wrote questions.
Yeah.
Because we're professionals.
And this is also the Tarp report. And we
Don't have Trey anymore.
you're the only guest that hasn't been Rachel Afjay or my mom or my wife.
Yes,
Okay.
we've had
Thank you. That's an
literally
honor.
we've had all his entire family.
Yeah, and usually my mom tells stories about me, but I don't want you to do that yet.
But if you could go ahead and cue some up,
Some stories.
some cute stories about you and Sam that you could tell later.
Okay.
Yeah,
For him.
we've done
I mean-
some stuff. Not as much as people think we have, but maybe more than some people think we have. We've been in Idaho together, and
Yeah.
that was wild. So
That's
Is
awesome.
it story time?
you remember that show, right?
Yeah. Is it?
I
is
guess
right- is that
we're
what you're
doing
queuing
it.
up?
I
A
didn't-
story?
I didn't know. I thought we were
What do
doing
you
Okay.
What do you remember about that?
Sam flies speed kites, and so we were at Chick-fil-A in Tacoma, and he's like, "Dude, you want to fly a kite?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, and then he opens his trunk, and there's literally like wires attached to this kite that looks like it's for racing on a beach. And I was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that right now." And we look up. There's a little gust in the wind, like. There's enough that there's like a bird flapping as hard as it can and it's still in the same spot. Sam's like, "This is ideal. This is ideal speed kite flying weather." And so he straps that thing up and gets it going. And I mean, it's like a Blue Angel, man. It's doing all the tricks. I think it dive bombed straight into the ground, like, "Wow," but like not before we had an audience of everybody in the drive-through, half the people in the parking lot.
Remember that lady got mad at us too. She was like, "Really?"
Yeah. And I was like, "Go fly a kite."
The only appropriate response. You've taken me to like literal. There were like stores dedicated to just kites.
To just
like-
kite flying.
It's a
Well,
kite
do you
store.
know the thing? You'll appreciate this, Nate. I had an experience with these kites, right? So I always wanted to have like a really nice kite that I could fly and like do this stuff. I was talking, you know, Emmett Montgomery, Seattle guy, right?
Yeah.
Last comic standing, dude.
I didn't know that.
I'm on the toilet. I'm talking to Emmett, right?
Sitting
I don't
on the
know. That's
toilet?
not important. I'm taking a dump, which is what you do. There you go. Sorry, Jess.
It's okay.
And I told him, I was feeling a certain way about comedy, and like comedy does in your brain. And I said, sometimes I wish I didn't get into comedy and instead I got into like kites or something. And Emmett told me this shit, and I don't know why I never thought of it. He's like, "You can still fly kites."
Yeah, you can do both.
And I was like, I gotta go. And I got up and I bought a kite. And so that shit, it's like the same thing with the magnet fishing, is that I have to trick my brain into not obsessing about stand-up comedy all the time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? Is that you?
Oh, it's my phone. Sorry, I was like, who is talking?
God.
That is so rude.
So that would be, I have these other questions, but I think I want to ask you that first. Is it like, how do you stop when you need to chill? Like, how do you do that? And like, what do you do?
Stop what? Everything?
Yeah, like when you need to just like, I need to experience joy and I need to
Outside of
stop
comedy.
working outside of comedy. Like, what do you do and how do you do that?
I get joy from working. That's one. That's just kind of the way I was raised. And then, sometimes you have to earn to stop. Maybe that's a mentality, but I'm like, I'm not going to let a bunch of stuff go by the wayside where other people are relying on me.
Yeah,
So I knock that stuff out, and then I'm like, now I can chill.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And stopping is easier than you think. It's all about delegation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here this morning because somebody had to be let go. And it's not that I've never asked somebody to do something that I can't do, won't do, or didn't know how to do. Right? So where people take that for granted is like, I can just wake up and come do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so that's the stopping part. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we're all human. Everybody gets it. If I have agents that are like, "Look, I'm trying to reach you." I'm like, "And I needed a break." They're like, "All right, I'll reach you later." Like,
Yeah.
it is what they get it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just don't take a break on stage
Right.
yeah.
when it counts. And they're like, Sam Miller, don't come out and lay down.
Yeah,
I need
like,
a break. Mental health break. You got to perform when you got to perform.
That'll never be an issue, and I don't think that'll ever be an issue for you because the only reason I do all that other bullshit is because I want to be on stage. Like everything else is just everything else.
So you get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything else is a fruit of, it's just an offspring.
yeah.
offset.
Yeah, my job is preparation, and my on stage is celebration, and it's gotten even more. I appreciate being more on stage now than I ever have in the past.
That's a dope quote.
Yeah,
My job is preparation, and my
On stage
performing is a celebration.
I think Russell Wilson said that actually.
Well, he needs to celebrate less.
Damn it.
Tough.
It sounded so
Sarah's
good
pregnant
when you
again.
said it.
Yeah, but he overthrows everybody because of the elevation. I think.
Oh, I can see that.
Thin air. I made that up. I
It
don't
was Nate. Nate is here. Nate is here because someone had to be fired, and also because you just really wanted to come and do the podcast.
Yeah, you guys got 24 episodes under your belt.
28.
28.
Killing it.
Episode
Plus
100, y'all.
Plus one that was lost and one we had to delete.
I heard about the one you had to delete.
Yeah.
And that was
Early on, you're like, I think I may have said a couple of things that I don't want the public to hear.
A couple.
I was like, then don't post it.
It was 36
You were like,
minutes.
oh shit.
yeah. And my mom was here. It was so
Yeah.
weird.
His mom was just like
Yeah. God.
so uncomfortable.
How can I be that embarrassed about something I did like 4 months ago and be like, God, who was I back
Yeah.
then?
You're a
4
different
months
person.
ago.
You're a different person now. You've
Hilarious.
changed.
Evolution
Yeah, God.
You're better. You're
That
better.
person was crazy.
from 20 minutes ago.
So
That's what sounds like the backseat of the cop car conversations.
Oh,
like I'll never do it again, I
I
promise.
swear to God, this time, I'll do
Just let me
better.
go.
You remember that prior joke where he talks about quitting cocaine? And then he lays on the stage and he hits the mic against his chest. And he was like, I swear to God, I'll never do cocaine. And then he looks at the crowd and he's like,
Right?
that shit was great, man. Yeah.
Let's just talk about it.
The elephant in the room.
Is the
I
lack
have
of-
nothing but love for Trey. There was issues that were outside of our bequest, and Trey is no longer here. We're
He
gonna
didn't
have
die.
Nate's not gonna be on the podcast every week. He's here this week. He's helping with some producing stuff, and he's a guest, and we're happy that he's here.
Helping us
And-
with our new
And I'm gonna find ways to continue to work with Trey. He can do some video stuff for me and things like that because I think Trey's a good person. I think Trey, Trey is not employed by Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club, and Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club, run by Mr. Nate Jackson here, is who
from the
we
television show Young Lord.
had to deal with to do the podcast,
Yes.
and has the equipment to do the podcast.
Or
So,
Nate Jackson Enterprises.
Nate Jackson.
But here's the
Enterprises.
thing. I didn't say Trey wasn't a good dude.
I know you did.
Yeah,
I know
we're
you
not
did.
talking
I
about him
just,
as a person.
I, at this juncture in my career, at 18 years in and getting to the bag and making a lot of stuff make sense, I can't afford the growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who already have gone through the growing pains elsewhere, and they're ready to work. They're willing to work. They get it. They aren't taking it for granted, and they understand that.
Yeah.
We are the magic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People who capture it aren't the magic. They're just capturing it, right? Which is why a lot of videographers also have creative outlets and things that they do makes them dope and special and all that. But
Yeah.
if you start as an intern and then 1 year later, you aren't working with the same vigor and keeping the same energy,
Yeah.
everybody around notices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's very important when we go into spaces that are rarefied air that you know how to move. And if you don't know how to move, at least mimic what everybody else is doing
fake it.
so that it's not, you don't look like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've had some situations, on the road, and I've been afforded opportunities to work at the top level in places that just a few years ago I was just trying to get 3 minutes to show what I can do.
Yeah.
And when they give you that tap, like, all right, we're gonna let you're the guy. You want to move fluid. You want to move like an army, precise and with precision. So any kinks in the chain stand out, not only to me but to everybody else around, because everyone else that has been given that tap moves away. There's a certain
Everybody,
way.
and also just so everybody at that level is hilarious. Like everybody that Nate's talking about, like, and the difference between like an opportunity that you get and an opportunity you don't get can be something really small, and it can be
and it can be something you didn't do.
Somebody is.
It's your team.
Right.
All of that matters. You know what I mean?
Social awareness. Yeah. But luckily, and
Good guy though.
I personally am super duper excited selfishly because
Yeah.
I just know that Isis and I are going to be like we're already
talking about
vibing.
Big Girl. I'm
like
screwed, man.
we're already like we've already sang some people's names.
How do you feel about like
like-
reality TV?
I'm so excited.
You love it?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes, I'm so
How do you feel
excited.
about meth?
Not a fan. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
See what it can do.
So excited. I got cold chills. I'm so excited.
God damn it.
There you go.
So yes, we have a new friend, Ms. Isis.
You have a new friend.
Yeah.
This would be good.
Because literally like that was like he's like right Trey, and then Trey would always agree with him. So I'm really excited.
I'd say some wild shit too.
and then he would agree, and I'm like,
It's pretty amazing.
oh man.
Yeah, well, I feel like us addressing it is good.
Yeah.
I don't
Be weird if we
know. I
didn't.
don't know what's gonna happen. Under no way did I ever assume that you've had ill will towards Trey. That's not what I was trying to say.
No, not at all. I'd
think-
actually say it's the opposite. Like
Yeah.
I want that little guy to win.
Yeah.
So badly.
And what
In fact,
happens-
that's one of my faults. Like
Yeah.
the much stricter situations, much stricter work environments. You know, he would have been let go a long time ago.
Yeah.
I put a lot, pumped a lot, made a lot, created ways where I didn't have it to try and help him.
Yeah, and you know, Nate, you know how I am, and you know how I move through the world, and you know that I have like I'm just gonna admit it, like I have like the softest heart, and it's hard for me in this industry sometimes because so much of this shit is out of my control, and there's nothing I can do about it, and it sucks watching people that I legit care about like have struggle, you know. And
Well, especially I
so-
mean, yeah, you're bleeding heart, and then we work closely, and in anything with addiction or stuff like that, like
Yeah.
it's you feel connected with them.
Yeah, so I'm calling Trey after the podcast. I'm gonna do some video stuff with him and things like that. We'll
Yeah,
figure
do
stuff
that,
out.
man.
Yeah, I will. You can come on the road with me sometimes. It'll be
Just-
not to the highest levels. that
I was
Nate
like,
at,
okay,
but he
like
can come to
maybe don't
Medford,
introduce him to anybody.
Medford, all
Doesn't
that
matter.
shit.
You'll have. I mean, he's a great listener while he shoots. He's a great videographer.
He does good work. Yeah,
He does good work.
yeah. But we are now in the age of ISIS.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Do you want to say anything? Do you want to?
Happy to be here.
Are you ready for this? Sure. You got it. You're gonna have to use a microphone for a second, okay? ISIS.
Hello.
I don't know. I don't know. Is this leaned in enough?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
there you go.
I feel
you're
like I'm
good.
about to start singing a song right now.
Do it.
Okay.
Pull out a
What
little-
song are you gonna sing right now?
Go for it.
Oh, well, immediately I was like a little whistle note.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I can't do it, I want to I want to lower your expectations. But I do have a microphone in my hand, so I was like, you know, a little.
If you were,
You gotta do the finger,
right?
you
Yeah,
know.
I love it.
I don't know. My name is Isis. I feel like that's a joke in itself, so I don't have to
I wasn't
make
gonna
a little.
Make it, though.
Yeah.
I know. I felt it though. Somebody wanted
I'm one
to.
of the new comedians. that stays in my lane.
I just want to say it was my name first. Okay.
You
I
had
just
it.
want to say that. But
That's good
I
to
don't
know.
know. Thank you. I'm very excited for this. I don't know.
You've been
like
a fan
you guys
of the
a lot.
podcast for a long
Yes,
time.
yes, she's been
Oh,
listening
I'm
from the
loyal
very
fan
beginning.
since day one. You know,
Thank you.
it's on my
Thank you so much.
calendar.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Every
She's like,
week,
I watch
the
it.
day
She's
that
like-
it comes out, I'm there. Like,
I love it every Wednesday.
you know, yeah, every Wednesday, it's there. My alarm's set.
I can't wait to
So,
listen to these two local comedians talk about their mental health.
I know. It's actually the highlight of everything, my life.
Well,
So,
Thank you.
Welcome,
very excited to be here.
welcome, Isis. You're going to be in Nate's seat eventually.
Okay.
And you'll be hitting buttons over there, and you'll be occasionally chiming in or not chiming in or doing whatever you
Whatever you-
want.
yeah.
And you
Okay.
and Jess can make fun of me because I don't understand reality television.
And
Okay,
and
that's
here
fine.
and here's what's fun too. We don't have
That
to.
motherfucker heavy. I ain't gonna hold you. I gotta set that down for a second. That shit is legit 9 pounds.
Mad about it. I was like, should I be holding it?
Yes.
you're good.
The good news, you do not have to talk about your bowel movements.
Perfect.
Yeah, just
Good.
so you know.
Yeah.
Looks like
Good.
I'm going to
Well, I have
be doing the work
none,
of two
so-
men.
I would literally like between the two of them, it's like 3 minutes of them just
Oh.
discussing
It wasn't
their
that
their
bad.
bowels.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
And we're human beings.
I'm excited that we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just put it out there. I don't have any, so I don't have
None?
anything to talk about.
Dude, that's
So,
crazy.
No.
I'm glad for you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're winning.
That's fantastic. I think that's scary. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I'm excited. New energy.
Super fun.
Thank you, Isis.
Thank
Excited.
you, Isis. Woo!
Hells yeah.
That's exciting. You found her in Vegas.
No, actually, I've known Isis since I think she was I just figured out how to walk or something.
What was that?
I've known Isis for a very long time.
16 years ago?
Yeah, so her mom and I have known each other for maybe 17 years. She used to come to the shows at Varsity Grill, and we all became distant family, then closer family, like friends. And she has what, 4 sisters? 3 sisters, and they're like a mob.
Well, there's 4 of them because she's one.
Yeah, so
You were right.
there's 5 when they're all together because and everybody is coming into their own, which is beautiful to see because they were just all April's kids
Yeah.
to me. You know what I'm saying? And so
No,
the
they're-
fact that Isis is like, I just got to put my finger right here and la la. I'm like, look at that little personality coming through, girl, shine. Yeah. So I think we've got us a diamond in the not so rough.
Is she gonna be doing road stuff too?
That's an evolution.
Okay.
That's a Pokemon graduating, but Keela is
You
still
say Pokemon?
yeah, everything's Pokemon, man. They're everywhere. So Keela's my assistant, Heath is my road manager, and then we use different videographers in each city to keep the expenses down. But there's certain cities where I'm like, I want everybody,
Yeah.
and we move. It's like single file line of ducks.
Yeah.
And we just capture everything. We come in like videographer sponges. Every moment is captured. We don't miss anything. And then we'll hit a room and then everybody spread.
Yeah.
Because if there's 100 people in there, we should come out with 100 contacts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's it. You have to, because there's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And the people who've been doing it at a high level have been doing it for years. So if you're gonna be the new person, if you're gonna be the new money, at least move like you've been somewhere before.
Yeah.
And then I come with credentials that sound like I've been into the money for a long time, which in fact is not true.
Yeah.
Right? But you're like, dude, he's on Young Rock. He's this, he's that. He owns a club. You know what I'm saying?
I know plenty of folks with credits like that are still, man. It's like it's week to week.
You're trying to make it
Not
make
with-
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
Not
talking
with
about the
millions and
conversation. I'm
millions of-
talking.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
I'm talking
TikTok's-
3 million followers and
Yeah.
and 300,000 on like the people who have those kind of numbers have been moving in that space. They've already been scouted, recruited. They already have major representation. They have
Yeah.
major management,
Yeah.
major agencies. They have they don't do a show without it being a door deal, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
I just got into this 2 months ago of like, all right, I can have a percentage of the door. And my life has already changed,
Yeah.
What?
right? But when I go into, say, Atlanta,
Yeah.
to the Atlanta Comedy Theater with Gary Abdo, who literally his headliners for the month that I went was like some more Gary Owen, D.L. Hughley, and me.
Yeah.
It's like one of these isn't like the other. But then I have the most sales.
Yeah.
So, and that's not a slight to the other 3.
No.
But it is a testament to there's a way you move. You don't come in there and eat up everything in the building.
You're winning at the new game, and you were ahead of a lot of people.
No, I mean a lot of people are mimicking me right now,
TikTok, yeah.
and that's how I know. That's how I know I was, ahead of that. Like, and I'll be honest with you, the format that I'm doing is not something that it's been done. Like people film themselves and they film the audience. Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But Matt Rife was the first person I saw to do it consistently
Matt Rife.
and find a platform where the algorithm was actually pushing it.
Yeah.
That's
You know what?
it.
It's funny because I'm my limited internet success. I just want to bring up Matt Rife for a second because people will be in my comment section be like, "Man, this guy's so great. I don't know what Matt Rife's deal is." And I was like, actually, dude, I had to be clear. It's like Matt Rife was really nice to me when he was here. That dude was busting his ass. And do you remember what it was like that weekend? Last weekend he was here before he blew up. And like, dude was putting on a show, and the Late Show was pretty rough. Like it was like, but now he's Mr. Auditoriums. Like, I mean, theaters. Like,
No, Matt is outdoor festivals now.
yeah, I don't have like, you know what I
Matt
mean?
did
3-day
7,500 in Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, I don't.
Matt is sold out
It's just wild.
Christmas of 2024.
That's wild. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's the only person I've seen that popped that hard.
Yeah,
And-
I've never
and
seen anything like it.
It is.
Yeah.
Houston. It is Houston. We have launched liftoff,
Yeah.
and he's number 1 on the app, and I'm number 2 on the app for stand-ups.
That's crazy.
Right? And so it's been meteoric, and I have 18 years of skills, and I have mastered my craft. And so when people come expecting to get what they saw on TikTok, and that's only 15 to 20 minutes of the hour and a half that I'm doing on stage.
We talked about that. It's not what you see is not. It's not like a sample size of the whole show. It is a piece of the show with the crowd work and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, people really do expect it though. Like
Oh, they asked for it. Before I finished, I'm like, is there anybody that wanted to get roasted that I missed?
yeah.
And they're raising their hand and screaming and pointing at their girlfriends and stuff. I'm like, I'm only roasting you if you volunteer.
Well, we would have. I mean, for people would come for the open mic here, and they would expect like the comics to perform like you perform, and like it is just like not like there's a lot of like audience participation. Like they want that experience.
Yeah.
Like they want.
I noticed
like,
it, and some of the, unfortunately, a lot of the chatter I heard when I was at open mic was comics fucking with other comics.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, can they do their set, please?
Please.
I had to tell Fred, like, bro, you're the worst person in the room right now. You're walking everywhere. If somebody says something, you're the loudest laugher for reasons we don't understand. We don't even get what you like. How can they gauge the material if you're laughing at something else entirely?
I laugh at premises all the time. I don't even need to hear the joke usually.
You do laugh when things aren't funny.
But that's fine. You have a high comedy IQ because you hear the premise like, where would you have taken that, or how much meat was on the bone? I get that, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody's like, ha ha, and you were looking at your notes. You're like, what the fuck? Did I just get a laugh?
Right.
No, they're off. They're laughing about the inside joke.
I did that. I did a horrible show in Reno like a week ago, and there was people at the bar that were laughing at something else while a comedian was in the middle of a joke, and it's the saddest shit.
Aw,
Man,
they're like watching TV.
Like
Yeah,
they
some
came to laugh.
bullshit.
Whether or
Just
not
not
you're
at
the
you.
one that makes them do it is different.
I want to do. We're gonna do some rapid fire questions.
Ready, go.
Because we took time to do this, and I know you're busy and we're busy, and Jess has to go to work. Are you ready for this?
I mean, I'm here, man. This is what I thought. I thought I was already going to be filleted at this point with questions.
No, this is what I'll go first.
Are they yes and no?
We're gonna go
Okay.
back and forth. No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Start with Sam.
What non-comedy experiences in your past, distant or otherwise, do you think have made you into the comic that you are?
Being raised in a house full of entrepreneurs. Nobody ever punched a clock. I've never seen anybody work a 9 to 5 from my birth until now.
That is exactly what we're looking for. Jess, go.
Holy guacamole. Do you watch Big Brother?
No.
Do you watch any reality television shows?
Not that I sat down and pressed to watch. Like I may walk by and see it on and then be like, what is this? I've watched cooking shows.
Okay, like which one?
Like the little kids that cook like adults.
Okay, all right. That's not fun at all.
fucking
They
know
don't
about a
even fight in
flambe.
there. They don't, I can't cook at all. Yeah.
You are a proud alumni of Eastern Washington University.
Go Eagles.
It's also the place where you first performed stand-up comedy. What emotions did you feel during and after that first set?
I was like, damn, I can do this. And I was very nervous because usually at colleges and universities, the events the school throw are considered corny or lame because it's like, dude, let's just go to somebody's house and drink, right? Or let's,
Yeah.
This was different. Like it was all students. There was no professional out of town comic that the school booked. It was students.
How upset were you at Tony Peters last night when he fucking tried to break the place apart?
I forgot you had that question because I've already seen your questions, but I forgot that this is one of them.
Doing
Tony
a Nate,
Peters.
doing a Nate Jackson impression.
This is legit how I feel. Okay,
I love Tony.
I'm not bothered by it.
Yeah.
Right. I just want if people take risks and chances on stage that they make it worth it.
Right.
I've made decisions in competitions that later I was like, you know what? I see why I didn't advance.
Yep.
And it also had nothing to do with my level of preparation, what I intended to say, and trust whatever jokes he was going to tell or whatever he had written on a napkin or his hand that he looked at or a set list in his phone. He made that decision when I went up and then I was trying to make sure that the sound was right. That's when he decided he was going to mimic me.
Right.
And in mimicking me, he knocked something loose.
Yeah.
And so then we had roughly 30 minutes of trying to figure out.
He pulled up the
Technical
curtain
difficulties.
Yeah.
to where all those inputs are, and the curtain fell back down, and it was stuck on a cord. And then I saw him like pull down on the curtain, and I think that's
Maybe what happened.
Potentially. I think that while he was doing all that, his foot kicked something else. And so we had to literally tighten up the female end of 4 microphones, the male end of 4 microphones, an adapter, another thing, and then we were good. Then we switched cords because it started popping.
Right, we had to pause it. We had to pause. The DJ had to come out
Twice.
Also-
and fix the cord.
He was just at the bar like,
Yeah, no, Tony was so embarrassed.
he was like, man, I was just so nervous. I'm like, that's not nerves, man. Just keep performing.
I like Tony a lot. I like there's a lot of stuff last night. Like I said, last night was the funniest, the first round
first
of the
heat.
Every Tuesday, by the way, if you're listening to this is going to come out in a couple
Like
weeks,
2
and they'll
weeks.
still be going on. And I got to judge last night, which I really, really enjoyed.
Because Nate puts on a competition, the funniest motherfucker.
Yep.
And last night was the first heat, the first 20.
It's also a really good way if you're somebody who books comedy shows or runs comedy shows. It's a really good way to see a lot of comics.
Yeah,
That's true.
come do their.
That's what
come do
Jess
their-
was doing
Judge-
last night.
judging.
Jess judges everybody all the time.
Well,
It's
that's
perfect.
what I. But that's literally like my favorite thing to do, judging people. But I like when I first started doing comedy, like I would always like print out the open mic list, and like I think it was just to keep myself busy and like just I like to write or whatever, and but then I would just always keep notes on the comics and write down their jokes and like
This is
that's just
one of
what I
these-
always did.
I feel like such a blowhard because I'm like, I don't get why you do that. And
Yeah.
then last night I was taking notes on comics, and like it kept me so much more engaged in the show because I knew when I was coming up, if I was doing something like that event last night, to have like somebody who's like at least a semi-established headliner like myself to like
Yeah.
to give me direct feedback meant a lot to me, and it was cool to be able to do that.
Not only that, you wrote
know.
everybody. You wrote all of them a note each
Yeah,
each
yeah, yeah. I gave
person,
them my
giving them
notes, yeah.
feedback. I think that would be really special as a comic.
Nate, back in the day, I know you're going to remember this. Do you remember that show we did in Bremerton? And it was one of the first times you saw me do a longer set.
No.
And
Yes.
he went up after me, and he roasted me, but in like a really wonderful way. And he was like, this dude's up here talking about seagull eggs. Like, I've never heard nothing like that before. And I was sitting up in the balcony with my wife that night. And
talking about
I was like grabbing her. I was like, it's me. Nate's talking shit about me. He watched my set.
Yeah. He's listening. I got his attention. It's
Dude,
not easy
that
to do.
show-
That is not easy to do.
This show me and Nate did, right? In Bremerton, there was about an hour and a half of like music before either of us went up. There was 3 comedians,
Yeah.
I think. There was a smoke machine.
Ooh,
Every
I love
time I
good
got a
smoke
big
machine.
laugh, they'd hit the button on the smoke machine. There was a guy with a spotlight, but
Well,
he
no,
was
the smoke
slow.
machine was broken. So it would just go every now and then, randomly. It was sitting in the back. And so it was in the back. And it seemed like we were in a theater that was like recently a play, and they had just broken it down.
Yeah.
So they had like all the
Lots of
curtains open. You
plywood.
see like naked wall in the back, and then this one little smoke machine. And when I say little, it was like the size of maybe a shoebox.
Yeah.
And every maybe 3 minutes, it would just go and give out a little. It looked like it was vaping.
Yeah.
Right, for real. And nobody addressed it. The show would be going, and then you would just look over because it poofed, and then you look back at the comic, and then it would poof again, and then you look back at the comic. And then there was like a little light plugged in that was like going red, green, blue the whole time.
And then there was a guy on the spotlight.
Yes.
But he was slow. So
It's not
Nate
nice, Sam.
Nate was moving around more than me then. Now you sit down more.
No, but online I'm sitting.
Don't get it twisted,
Wait.
all right? Okay. He's not a sit down comic.
Even
know,
if
but
I was, the only reason I sat down on the stool is because it's easier to film me.
Yeah, anyway, we were moving, and the spotlight couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
It was always behind us, and then it'd go whoop, and it'd like catch up real quick.
So people were walking into the dark, and then the guy would turn to the right, and the comic was on the left. He's like, "Oh shit!" And he'd make up for it, catch him on the other side. I was like, "Yo, they got a crackhead running this spotlight."
Nate went on stage. Immediately, he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" He unplugs the smoke machine.
Oh, nice.
I'm like tearing it around my
He's
arm.
breaking it down the whole stage, and then I think what it was like 5 or 6 minutes, and that was the first time that I ever saw you do this thing. And this is something that I'm done with my questions. I have new ones. You do something on stage that I've never seen a comedian do as well as you do, where I begin to lose the barriers between crowd work, riffing, and material, and I'm not sure what's what and what's planned and what's not. Is that something that you think you have a natural ability to do, or is that something that you just had to learn? Is that experience, like nature versus nurture, I guess? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you how did you develop that skill, and what does that feel like to you while you're doing it?
Yeah, that's the design. It's toolbox comedy. It's like being a master mechanic, and then somebody pulls up with a car, and you don't just, you can do a 120-point check. You can plug in a calibrator and let it tell you through some computer, or you can turn it on and listen. You're like, okay, I got a timing belt. I got this. It sounds dry, so we're gonna do this, this, and this. You open up your toolbox and you give it exactly what it needs. And I watched comics do that in Hollywood at the highest level, and I said, I prefer that type of comedy. And so then became the do it part, where that was just how I was trying to do comedy. And I just happened to get it. I don't want people to know the difference between when they're in a joke and not in a joke. When you know what I mean? And it takes watching me perform comedy a lot to be like, oh, this is a bit. Because I'm falling in and out of bits and crowd work and segues, and just it's a flow. So no two shows are alike. Like, I'm not striving to have the perfect hour. I'm striving to kill, and then whatever the fuck happened is what happened. And that's the difference between that right there is that's the caveat. It's why people are driving 9 hours. It's why people are going to more than one show in one weekend. It's why they stand for an hour waiting for a shirt, because they know that show was that way, and it's not going to be like that again.
Never going to be nothing like that.
Never going to be like it again.
Yeah.
So, no, that is definitely, I'm doing something. It took me a lot of effort and reps to make that look effortless now.
Yeah, and you do.
Yeah, it's strange because, when we talk about like Northwest, like heavyweights, you're going to have like Rutledge in that conversation. You're going to have Upton in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Susan Rice is another one.
Upton's out and about now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't just say
he's
Northwest.
not a Northwest guy, but you know what I mean? Like from this area.
No, like when I did Atlanta, like he had a date in Atlanta. He had a date he was doing like Thursday night.
Yeah, he does like the Grand Ole Opry and stuff. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, he's legit. And he has a Michael Jackson bit he used to do. I don't even know if he does it anymore, but it was like the best Michael Jackson bit of its era.
Yeah.
And that is a testament to who's great or not, right? Like we grow bit by bit. And he had the best Michael Jackson bit, which means he got to go all the way around the world because everybody wanted to see his doing Michael Jackson bit.
Yeah.
So Brad Upton is a monster, man.
Yeah. Do you feel that the way that people look at you and like how you're ranked amongst like in the comedy world, especially in like these Northwest comedy stuff, like how do you feel like, do you think you're ranked fairly? Like how do you think you relate to that stuff? Do you think about that?
What do you mean?
Like where do you stand in relation to these other comics from this area? Like what is your place? Like how do you feel like you relate to that?
I don't necessarily care.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I wanted to know.
Is there
No,
anybody,
I used to
there's
care
nobody
about
on
ranking, but you have to understand, I won the Bay Area Black in 2010.
Yeah.
So 13 years ago, I won the most prestigious African American comedy competition on planet Earth, and then came back home to people being like, saying that they were in the same sentence with me.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Who else has 300,000 followers on Facebook?
Yeah.
Who else has 300,000 followers on YouTube? Who else has 3 minutes? Like, I don't care for it. When somebody says, "Oh, Nate's the local," okay, I think you may have missed some of the work I've done.
Yeah, that's
I
not
also,
what I'm, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, I left for 12 years, so being in the local conversation of rankings and who's got the juice, I don't care.
You don't care.
No, I don't. I really don't. There's who's from the Northwest that has had the most success. There's 2 people, right? Maybe 3.
Yeah.
And that would be Dan Cummings, who hit out of Spokane.
Mm-hmm.
Dan's everywhere. Then there's Kev on stage, right? And then arguably Joe Coy, because he went to high schools here.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't start comedy here, but he's from here, right?
Yeah.
So those are people who are on television every day or they're on apps every day. You can consume their content every single day. And that's where I'm at now. So people can compare all they want. Yeah. But all they're comparing is what they've seen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you don't put nothing out, then what are we comparing?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you guys, and that's the thing, like, everyone is in control of that themselves. Like, you're grabbing your career by the horns by doing this, by creating this content, by being in control of your own clips and putting that stuff out and building your audience. So then when you go to Detroit that you've never been to before,
you can draw.
You have people going, no, they're from the Tarp Report. No, I listen to your stuff. And it might be 8 people. But they bring 2 people with them. Now it's 16. They bring 3. It's 24. They bring 5. And you got a 40-person crowd. The club's going to put some asses in seats. And now you're in front of 140 people in a market you've never been at. And everyone in that room fucking loves you. Yeah. That's the difference, right? If I took you on the road with me right now, there would be a large portion of what's happening that is fucking mind-blowing for me. Right. Yeah. I don't even know what other people's impression of it is.
Maybe that's what my question should have been. Is like, it's not so much like what is the next step? Like, where are you? Like, what is it like right now to be like the tip of the spear, if you will?
Yeah, because there's nobody on Nate. I mean, there's nobody here that's like on Nate's level.
Yeah. Is it hard to not know from one show to the next, like, what it's going to be like? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, what's going to be like?
Like, what the next move is? Is it like, because do you feel like you're in uncharted territory? That's how I should phrase it.
No, I'm not in uncharted territory. I'm just in rarefied air situations, right? Like, I have to look for different examples. Like, I remember when I read Kevin Hart's book, right? It wasn't a normal read. Right? Like, I wasn't just reading it, being the voyeur of his career, like a fly on the wall, like, what did happen with Kevin or whatever. Like, I read that book, and up to a certain chapter, I was like, this is my experience in comedy.
Yeah.
To be able to turn the page and see what happened next in his life, to be like, oh, that's what the next shit is. Yeah. And this also is why I think it's important for management and agency, right, to not just be a best friend that's trying to learn the ropes. And all. It needs to be someone who has either already been down this path so that it's familiar, or someone who can go across the hallway at their office and go, hey, what's about to happen when we get here? Yeah. Right? And then things that are brand new to you, you have like, you're going to go in there, you're going to sit down. Like, somebody told me before I did Curb Your Enthusiasm, they're like, it's all improv. There's no script. You just have direction. Yeah. And there's 9 cameras on it, and it's HBO. Yeah. Okay. There's hundreds of people standing around doing their job in production, and they literally are like, "All right, Larry's just gonna walk up and interact, listen, and do your thing." Yeah. What thing? Well, you'll find out.
Dude, I know you love that shit.
Which was cool, and it felt an awful lot like the experience I had in shooting sketches. Yeah. Because when we shoot sketches, we're like, "All right, here's the idea, right? 2 guys. There's a girl. She doesn't like you. She likes you, but you really want her, and this guy doesn't give a shit no matter what you say, what you have. A rose is a zebra, whatever you want to give her." She's like, "Anyway." Right? Yeah. And action. And that's how we would shoot sketches. Yeah. We try one, we're like, okay, no, keep that moment, get rid of the other moment, keep this, here's another suggestion, you do this, you, when he does that, action. And that was that, right? Yeah. I'm like, well, how do I know if I'm doing well? Right? I'm not, I don't know which generation they put that on. Like, they need to know exactly how they're doing, and they need to be uplifted, and I don't know which generation that is, but what I know is stand-ups are used to saying a thing and getting a response right then. Yeah. TV's different because everyone has to be quiet. They're like, cut, and then you hear laughter. So in the moment, you're like, did I just rip or not?
Yeah.
You come off the set, and if people are coming up to you, oh my God, that was that. So they told me, they're like, if Larry likes you, he's gonna ask you for your government name, or he'll call you by your name. Like, fuck whatever name the script says. There might be Joe Jenkins on there.
Yeah.
By take 2 or 3, if he likes you, he's gonna be like, what's your name? And then he'll call you by name in it.
Oh, that's rad.
Right? On our second take, he was like, what name's on your birth certificate? It's literally what he asked me. I'm like, Nate Jackson. He was like, Nate Jackson. And then the next takes, he came up, he was like, oh, Nate Jackson, I didn't know you live here. And it was like, and I was in a prop house.
Yeah.
Like, the family that owned it was in like the other room being quiet.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good Larry David impression too.
Right?
Yeah,
But that's what he said.
It
And it was the
caught me
most
off guard.
peculiar way to ask somebody their name. What name is on your birth certificate?
That was wild.
But I say that to say, that's rarefied, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had I not known Larry would do that ahead of time, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What name is on my birth certificate? What kind of shit is
It's
that?
gonna throw you off.
That would throw you off. But I was pre-prepped by somebody who, even though it's a rarefied air, these
They
are
know
people
what
who
the
move
score
in
is.
these
Yeah.
spaces, okay? My management is 3 arts. That's Dave Becky. That's Dave Chappelle. That's Kevin Hart. It's untreaded water for me, but they already set buoys out there. So when you're in your career and you are, let's just use it like you and I are on a deserted island and we put a canoe in the water and we go, all right, Sam, let's just fucking go as far as we can today, and then we'll turn back and go back to land where we're comfortable, right?
Yeah.
It does something when you get out there and the buoy says Gabriel Rutledge.
Yeah.
You're like, I ain't never been here before, but he has,
Yeah.
right?
And you and Gabe are the ones that I talk to the most about this stuff, and that's probably why that some of my questions come off as confusing, because I think I'm trying to get personal information. Jess,
You digging?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to make sure that you did a good job.
I did do a good
You
job.
did a great job.
This is what it looks like.
Yeah, see, that shit's wild, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was 8 shows like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 3 and 4 a day. This is not normal.
I did a little bit of math one time when I looked at one of the venues you were doing at, because you were adding like a second Sunday show, and I was like, what would that?
What
be
city was it?
as a door deal? I think it was in Tulsa or something like that.
I haven't done Tulsa. Maybe it was
Tulsa. Maybe it was
Louisville,
someplace
maybe
else.
something like that?
Maybe something. I don't know. It was someplace. It was someplace like in that weird area between the Midwest and the South.
that'd be Louisville.
Yeah,
Because I literally was on stage like, what are you guys? Is this the South or the Midwest?
They
I'm like,
know.
what football team do you guys fuck with? They're like, Bengals. And somebody's like, boo, go Cowboys. I'm like, where are we?
Because I talked to you the week before that, and you were out. I can't remember what event it was at, and that's when we talked about Thanksgiving weekend and stuff like that. I don't know, just tripping out, man. So
Yeah. Well, that brings me to the next question. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Are you rich yet?
What's rich?
Or than you used to
having
be?
a lot
Yes.
of money.
How much is a lot?
I don't know.
You pick a number, I guess.
Are we financially stable?
Yes.
Awesome. I love that for us.
But you can be financially stable with $10,000. I've been financially stable for a long time.
Can I borrow $10,000?
If you need it.
That's really nice of you. Oh my god.
What was
I
your
don't want that. I don't like owing people money.
I have like
I'm going to get it back to you.
Yeah, I know.
Motherfucking pinky toe, bitch.
You know, by the way, I didn't get paid for that show in Bremerton at first, and then a Tacoma fan of mine went out there and got my money, and we met at Red Lobster, and I got
What?
paid. I don't want to talk about the whole situation.
I don't think I did either. I think I had to meet him at a dispensary to get paid.
Yeah, dude.
hell?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
wild.
yeah. It was
What was it?
different. Times are wild sometimes. It's good to have people in your corner. You ain't got much to worry
What
about.
is rich?
well, probably like can you buy a new house yet?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm in the process of buying a house
Hell yeah.
right now. But therein lies the rub. Like, that costs money. So now you don't have no money.
Right. But you get a new house.
If you got $10 and you spend $9, you only got $1 on you.
Right.
Ain't got no liquid bread. But no, I'm buying a house. I put in a
Where at?
It's in Tacoma. So I bought I put in an offer. Well, first I was trying to see if I could get approved for it. And in order to do that, I had to show like show, because I'm a 1099 person as an entrepreneur, so you basically have to go off of your bank statements.
Yeah.
And so I had to strategically like make deposits and take screenshots and all, like, okay, I just made a deposit, boom. Now I'll pay my bills because it has to look
like you have more.
What?
Yeah.
And they don't, honestly, to be honest, you're not fooling them. They know everyone is maxing out their account, but you know what I mean? Some people go as far as like a relative giving them a shit ton of money, put it in there, take the picture, give the money right back, just so they can be like, this is how much I have.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I don't know what rich is though. Like, I know people who are rich. I ain't that.
Okay.
My house doesn't echo.
Okay. Maybe that's when you know you've made it.
When your house is echoing and shit. Yeah.
Or if your car talks to you.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really care
The
about
door
your.
is
I'm sorry.
ajar.
I should.
Yeah,
That was just-
I had a rental car that was talking to me. I thought there might be somebody in there. I was scared.
That was a stupid question. I shouldn't have.
No,
I
that was a
shouldn't
good
have asked.
question. I love questions like that. But are you rich yet? I couldn't wait for you to ask that question. I love questions like that.
I genuinely have like, and
Seems like people are curious about that though. Because I had my realtor came here when we were putting in the offer for the house, and she was like, I need to see your bank statement to see what you can move. I was like, okay, fuck. So I open up Chase and I'm like, here's where I'm at right now. And Rachel was like, can I see that? Can I just take a peek? I'm just so curious. I was like,
People are weird about.
There you go. And
just
black.
cover that up.
Right.
I encourage comics, especially if you're at the same level as somebody, like other newer headliners.
Mm-hmm.
I like talking with them about money, and I'm trying to do it because then you know who's taking you for a ride or not. Because you'll have bookers that, I'll ask people. I think I've messaged you before about, hey, you did this room. What did they give you?
They did 40-70. What?
Yeah, So I don't know. I do that with Gabe too. I do that with lots of folks.
Yeah, but I'm cutting my own deals. Like I did Jokers and called myself. Was like, listen, I'm only coming out there because when I was in college doing comedy, I really wanted to. Like I did this as a student. We drove here, 5-6 cars deep, and I have family here. Mm-hmm. Said so now that I have all this heat, I would like to come back out here, but I'm gonna need a door deal. It's like, well, we normally do a show Friday, a show Saturday, pays $550. I said, that'll be our baseline. I said, but let's do verses. And let's go, I think I said 80%, something of the door. And he was like, okay. And then I hit Pat Wilson, and I was like, hey, this is happening. And Pat was like, he's not going to do a door deal. And I was like, it's already done. Yeah. What? It's already done. So I said, I also said, I need you to put it on sale now because I have already made my tour announcement and you'll be a part of that. And so all that energy will come through the Tri-Cities. Yeah. I need 4 shows, not 2. And you're going to need to staff up. And he was like, what? I'm like, could you just hear me out? And then people hit me up from the Tri-Cities like, dude, I can't get tickets. And that was 7 days later. And so I called and I was like, hey man, there's something wrong with your link. Like people can't get tickets. He was like, let me take a look. And he had brown paper tickets, which I use every Thursday night for 9 years at Varsity Grill. So I was very familiar with it. I actually have a contact there and I called them before and was like, well, why are my tickets fucked up? And they're like, oh, here's why. It's sold out, but how many seats does he have? And I was like,
he didn't sell all the seats, did he?
He didn't open it up all the way. Because he didn't believe it, right? Yeah. So then when I called him, I was like, I didn't divulge that I already knew it was sold out, but that he didn't have enough in there. And he was like, let me take a look. Yeah. He's like, there's no way it's fucking sold out. And it literally, while he was clicking and going through things, I'm like, I'm telling you it's sold out. He's like, there's no fucking way. Nobody sells out. Nobody sells out. It's like, okay. He's like, holy shit, it's sold out. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I only have 2 prime rib tickets left. I was like, hey man, fuck them prime ribs. Put the goddamn tickets on sale. Yeah. And please do the next show. Yeah. And so then he added the other 2 shows, and then those sold out. And then he was like, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open up the room all the way.
And that's max, like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then he opened up the room all the way. And so instead of making $550, I walked with 15,700 or something like that, which is the most I think anybody's ever gotten out of that room.
I'm sure. What were you gonna say?
And it was fucking packed.
Jokers is, I actually think Jokers is an amazing spot. Just as somebody who used to eat a lot of acid, the fact that there's a comedy club in the Tri-Cities that's in a bowling alley connected to a casino next to the largest manufacturer of plutonium to make nuclear weapons is fascinating. And I was really happy to see you. I was really happy to see you do well. I see Jayla's knee.
Jayla's knee?
Jayla's knee was right there. I see the bright.
Is Jayla?
Nice.
Where's Jayla?
I think I seen a big toe and a Birkenstock.
Let's do.
that's
Why don't you
definitely
do? Why don't you do the last question and
That one? Which one?
do whichever one you want, Jess?
Okay, well, I'll do the one that I wanted. I have, and even like just moments where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe that. Like, I'm doing a podcast with you, and with you, and with Isis, and we're here, and we're at this fucking comedy club. And like 2 years ago, I hadn't even been in a comedy club before.
It's real.
Yeah,
I'm gonna gas
like,
you up for a second. You deserve all this shit. You work so hard. There's a reason I picked you to do this podcast, and there's a reason Nate messes with you too.
I
Like you're
appreciate that.
funny and you're a hard worker,
Thanks.
and you're interesting.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But what would be for you like the moment that you like looked around and like, what the hell? Like, I can't like, have you had like I can't believe this is my life?
There's 3.
You had this in the chamber.
No, I know the 3
this-
moments
one of my
because when
questions
it happens, I'm by myself, and I'm like retrospective, like damn, I am just a fat kid from Lacey, Washington.
Let's go.
What the fuck? And so one, okay, there's 4, there's 5. I may not remember all of them, but for meet and greet. And 85 people were in line. And like as far as you could see was the people waiting. And next to them were the people that were waiting to get into the second show. So there was easily,
Wow.
I don't know, 250, 300 people. And if you're ever in the underground in Atlanta, it's basically a 2-story mall, but it's the top of it is ground level. So you go into it and you just go downstairs and stuff, right? Well, the entire bottom of that area was all for me. And I finished the show and I was like, that was cool. And then they came like, all right, they're ready for you outside. And I was like, who's ready for me outside? They're like, you're meet and greet. And I go outside and the line is literally just heads and shoulders, heads and shoulders, heads and shoulders, heads all the way. People are like, Nay! There's people up on the next round yelling down, that's it. That was one. Another one a few years ago, I did Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Dubai, and Qatar in a run. And we went to this little restaurant that was like near the Burj Khalifa, and you go through a hotel lobby and out the back, and it's like patio dining. But it was like the golden hour where the sun was setting while we were ordering. It was, the sky was going from yellow to orange to purple to then dark, and then all the little lights kick on, and so just sitting through like that, that time lapse of one of the most beautiful sunsets, and you walk over this little moat, and then that's where everyone is sitting, and kind of like it's like a courtyard kind of, and you're sitting on like there's fresh water, and there are tortoises swimming under you and around in like this lazy river.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there looking at a tortoise, and it was like orange purple, and there's like people dressed how they dress and music playing, and I just looked up and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
That shit gives me goosebumps, man.
The third time, I was at Wildin' Out, and it's go, 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 go. Okay. No, it's very fast paced. There's 12 people on every episode, sometimes 14. There's celebrities there. You're gonna go get dressed. You're gonna do your sound check or put your laugh on. You jump out onto the sound stage. They're like, here's what we're doing. And when I say here's what we're doing, they're like, these are the 3 games we're playing. Let the fucking celebrity go first. Know your fucking role. Contribute. This is all about moments. Let's collect a moment. All right, we're going to the white room for the next 20 minutes. Then we come back here and we're hot, right? And so everybody's like, cool. So all the girls go to finish hair and makeup. The guys go shoot basketballs in the little arcade game thing they got and have a drink. And the white room is like it's a green room essentially.
Oh, okay.
But
I was about to say I don't think it's right that they make the different audiences go to different places.
No, so the white, but this is where like all VIP guests, wives, family of the guests, they can all sit. But there's a DJ playing, there's food. I get it, but I didn't go though, as I stayed back, and so then the whole soundstage emptied. And then like the light guy was like fucking with it, like it was like, poof, and then it would say like wildin' out, and that would scan by, and it was like, poof, and then I was doing a stand up special later that day, and so they were running those lights, so they're like, poof, and it was like, literally it sounds like, poof, and then it changes. The room went from white to blue and white, and then my name. I think they just knew because it was me in there, and it was like Nate Jackson on the marquee rolling all the way around, and I was in there by myself. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Wow. And so that was one. And then...
what's the early one? Can you think of an early one?
That was pretty early. That was pretty
Sounds
early.
like, do you have any, like an early one that maybe like includes me?
Yeah. Do you remember, do you remember when we did that show in Bremerton? And you unplugged the smoke machine? Was that
That's
one
funny.
of them?
That's hella funny.
I had a spot. I'll talk, Liz. I had a time in Chicago.
I got another one too.
When I was in Chicago doing the Laugh Factory deal.
Yeah,
And
I bet.
they had a closer that didn't show up, and they were down a cook, and I got that fucking tattooed on my arm. To do 30 minutes, please.
Yes.
Because I had a waitress come out and hold up a sign because I was doing 20 minutes closing out a show at the Sold Out Laugh Factory, and they trusted me to just add another 10 minutes. And I was in the middle of a bit, and it fucked me up because I got all excited and I forgot the rest of the joke. But it was weird because that shit you're talking about, like that toolbox, right? In my mind, I see like this 3D pyramid. It's like pyramid, but it's like scaffolding, and it's upside down, and I start here, and then I can go to all these different spots. And so when they said I had to add 10 minutes. The pyramid was like a transformer. It was like dink, 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 and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do big people sex.
Yeah.
One more meth joke, and then back to big people sex. This will work, you know, and it fucking worked. And when I left that place, and I'm eating like a traditional like hot dog, and like you said, man, I'm a fucking fat kid from Lacey too, and you know the amount of work, and then to get those moments where you just take a deep breath and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm a real fucking comedian.
Doing it.
You know? Yeah.
The surreal stuff for me is things that's like, I just never thought was possible for me. You know what I mean? And now I'm kind of entering into, like I've watched other people do or move or be that person. And I'm like, wow, I was a voyeur of them. Then what was surreal was like, yo, I'm now that person. Dang. Well, now it's like, there's been a couple of times where stuff is happening and I'm like, you know what? I don't know anybody who's done this.
Yeah.
Or like, I'll get phone calls from people that are like, nigga, nobody's doing what you're doing right now. Like, unbeknownst to a lot of people, quietly, I am the #1 ticket selling comic in America in comedy clubs. I have sold 168% of my shows out for 2023. I have broken the sales record in Austin at Cap City, and it's not until October 20-something. Wow. I've broken the sales record at the Ontario Improv. It's not until October something. I've broken the sales record at Zany's in Rosemont. When I say sales,
is that
record,
bigger than the Chicago one?
Chicago's 100 seats. The other one is 250.
Yeah, because I've been to the Zanies in Chicago. It's a cool room, but it's not. It's not very big.
Intimate.
Yeah.
And so I'm only doing 4 shows there. But at Rosemont, there's 250 people. I will be in Chicago for 9 days doing 2 or 3 shows a night.
When are you going to be in Chicago?
It's this month. It starts. It was a weekend, Rosemont, and then we just went back.
Yeah.
So we sold out Friday, sold out Saturday, sold out Sunday. Added a show. There's 6. Then there's 2 the night before on the Thursday, 2 the night before on the Wednesday, 2 the night before on the Tuesday.
Wow.
And so now I have 11 shows, and everything is sold out. Then I go straight from Rosemont to Chicago for another 4 shows. So what is that, 15, 16? It's almost 17 shows. There isn't anybody who's done that.
No, that's insane.
There's no one that's done that. And and that's not even my strongest markets on socials.
Right.
So,
I don't want to brag or anything. I know that you are leading the way.
this shit is crazy, man. It's unreal. Dog, my dad was like, go move the wheelbarrow. Like the other night.
Where's that? Like
In Lacey. My dad was like, can you move that wheelbarrow?
I'll move the wheelbarrow.
I work hard as shit. Yeah, I got you, Daddy. No problem. But it was just like,
I have 3 million followers. You can't move that wheelbarrow.
There's a
that snuck up on me too.
yeah.
You know
The
what I'm saying?
followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I got the weirdest, man. Denise pissed me off last night. I really struggle with that shit, man. When people
He doesn't
are
know
mean
how
me
to not
online.
engage with people who leave him mean
She was
comments.
talking shit about. She's like, you got an assault rifle tattooed on your arm, and you are not funny. And I was like, listen, like, I got this shit. I was like locked up a lot, and it's always people on the left too, and it pisses me off because like I'm pretty far left or whatever, you know. I know everybody's shocked, but it like kind of pisses me off because everybody on the left is like, we should end incarceration, and then they see like a product of incarceration, and they're like, that's too much.
Don't like that.
Yeah. Why do you have a gun tattooed on your arm? And I'm like, because I was a fucking criminal.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Spring break.
She's worried about you, Denise.
Fuck Denise. I'm over that shit. I wrote out this long message. It was so sweet, and then I deleted it and I blocked her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nate, is there anything else that we should have asked you?
I mean,
There's so many things that we should. He's like, well, there's so many ways that you could have done this better. I'll be honest with you.
no, it's not about doing it better because this is fine. But there's actually been a treat. But I don't know what you were trying to accomplish by the end of this. To be like, did we just encapsulate all that is Nate Jackson? I don't know.
Yeah, he just wants to make sure you had fun, right? You're still gonna.
I don't know what.
You're still gonna be our friend at the end.
Yeah, I don't know if you thought you were gonna like jam me up in a corner and then get crazy answers out of me, but I'm just sharing and answering what you asked me. I think that this was dope. I hope whoever listened to it feels like that. If anything I said sounds like bragging, I promise I wasn't. I was just telling you what happened. And is there anything else you could have asked me? I imagine there is. I don't know what that would have been.
Is there anything you want to ask me and Jess?
Yeah. Are you guys gonna? Is there an evolution to this?
What the hell are we gonna do with this?
No, not necessarily what the hell you're gonna do with it, but what does it look like?
We've got mad at each other a couple episodes ago.
That's fine. But what does the next level of this look like?
We've talked about, taking it on the road. And
Okay.
like we've talked about, we are doing more stuff together and trying to,
Me, Jess,
capitalize on it.
Me, Jess, and Lynette Manning are going to Montana and my favorite club out there, Last Best Comedy in Bozeman.
Nice.
They're going to come out there with me. We're going to build a little tour on that, little 5-day deal. I do 5-day deals or I do 9-day deals, and a 5-day deal makes most sense for us. So we'll go like a Thursday through a Sunday, and you know how I do it. I get my anchor date and then I build around it. I think you're familiar with that system. Like you get the good show that pays money, and then I don't know why I feel like I need to tell this to Isis in the corner. That's how I book comedy tours, is I'll be like, this is a good money show. I book it really far out, and then I see if I can build around it. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes I lose my ass, and sometimes I don't.
It's comedy, baby.
One more question. You work the road. You know kind of where I'm at and what my life is like right now. What's the most beautiful thing you saw while you were like out there driving across the country? Is there a moment that you remember where you saw something and you were like, oh my God, that's that mountain that I saw in a picture or some shit like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was gonna sound ridiculous.
Hit me.
I did some shows for the MCCS which is like Marine Corps. We went to Japan, and we landed at maybe 2 a.m, and it was literally, we were driving through the city, and it was pitch dark and all that. I fell asleep in the van driving the last hour or whatever. And then when we got to the camp, we went in, and it was pitch dark. Marine camps like that, there's not a lot of light at night, So we go in, we get in our bunks and all that, and go to sleep. And you wake up in the morning, we'll get breakfast, and we'll show you around, and then have lunch, and then do what you want to do, and then at 6 is the show. And when I woke up in the morning, it was to the sound of PT. Like they were running by outside. Who wanna be like bitch? That's right, let it hold lip, right left. My mama gonna miss me. My daddy gonna miss me. Fuck 'em all, or whatever they were singing.
Fuck 'em all.
Yeah, and they're all running by. You just hear the feet chop, 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 and they're running by in groups of, I don't know, it had to be 100, and there was maybe 8 pods running by. So you would hear.
The next one would go by, yeah.
And I woke up to that, like, what the fuck? Came outside and went to the crosswalk, and they all ran by. Everybody say, hey, Nate, hey, Nate. And they kept walked across the thing, and then went to the food area and got some breakfast, and then went on the patio, the other side of the food area, to have a cigarette. And I sat down to smoke. I went outside. And that's when I realized where I was. Because when I opened the doors after having eaten, went outside, in front of me, with nothing between me and it, was Mount Fuji.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
And I was like, yo, this shit looks just like the picture. Like, it's literally a perfect point with a snow-capped.
Like on the Arizona iced tea can.
Every anime movie, every video, every picture you've ever seen of it. And I was like, I'm at the base of fucking Mount Fuji?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So that was one of the things I'd say. And I mean, I did a photo shoot. Like, I was like,
Yeah, of course.
zoom out, get the whole mountain behind me.
Pretend I'm holding it.
I haven't been that close to Mount Rainier.
Yeah.
That's how close we were to Mount Fuji. It was insane.
Yeah.
And Mount Rainier to me is like close and far, and getting to it, like you have to climb in your vehicle to get to. This was like, I don't remember the climb because I was asleep.
Yeah.
So when we woke up, I mean, we were literally at one of the waypoints before you can like there the people doing PT, when they ran by me, they ran around the building, up the goddamn mountain. That was their workout. I was like, I can't even believe that that's where I'm at. So that there's just been certain stuff that I've always done and seen that I thought was like so dope. Like when I drove by the Grand Canyon, it was like, yo, this shit really is big.
Yeah. There's
This grand.
I don't have anything else. I'm very happy with this. What do you think, Jess?
Yeah, well, nobody fought. That's good.
Fine,
We did have to fire someone, but
we did.
such is life.
That's how
These things happen.
works out.
One monkey, don't stop no show.
Yeah, we got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
With that, I would like to say thank you again
Thank you, Nate.
for coming in and doing this.
Man, thank you guys for having me. This was dope.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you
Thanks
liked it.
for letting us record here.
For sure.
What do we need to talk about?
Just when we're gonna meet next, and I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk with ISIS after this and figure out what the next move is, and we got to get a Google Doc. Whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's all good.
Thank you for listening to the Tarp Report with Sam and Jess. Thank you, Nate Jackson. Thank you, Jess. This was great.
Bye.